I don't know if a lot of people realize where we live. Like before we jump into the Frozen Wilds and talk about it, I just want them to know that your criticism of the Frozen Wild DLC, whether it be positive or negative, is the most accurate representation of what it feels like to understand what you're. We live in New England, which is the Frozen Wild. Therefore, Chet's opinion is the most valuable opinion on the internet.
We just got our first New England snow. What snow is just an inconvenience to us. It's a thing we deal with. And then I went to Frozen Wilds, and I'm like, well, is this just real life?
No, but snow is such an inconvenience in Frozen Wilds.
But no, Frozen Wilds, I like that they just did a little expansion. They did that thing in expansions that are open world games where it's really non-committal as to whether or not you're playing this before or after you beat the game. I just try to tell you a very off to the side story that adds to it without like trying to complicate whether or not you finished the game or are still playing it. It adds more to it. If you just started the game, you'd get a lot out of it. If you finish the game and you're jumping back in, you'll still get stuff out of it. It's absolutely... If you like Horizon Zero Dawn, and I really did, that is Game of the Year contender kind of material.
Even though it didn't win Game of the Year because people would need to leave Nintendo's balls.
Give Nintendo all the awards. Come on, I didn't even watch the Game Awards.
I did. I was disappointed, but that's not what we're talking about. I am very upset about the fact that Zelda won so many awards. Just saying.
It was good, but there's other games. There's other games. There's
that were better.
Frozen Wild with Horizon Zero Dawn. If you liked Horizon Zero Dawn, you're gonna like this. It's absolutely just more of it with a little bit of gameplay tweaks that made it better. Not all of them are the best because you really got to make a new game to fix some things like the marker that tells you where to go is always stupid because it's like, hey, follow the path. You're like, I'm not going to follow the path. I'm just going to go straight to where that thing is telling me to go.
Yeah.
But besides that, it's, it now gives you upgrade to your staff if you prefer to like get up and close and personal with your robots. There's a new gun that's actually really good. It replaced the sling I had. And they introduce a new creature robot? What do we say?
I think it's appropriate to say robot.
All right. They introduce a new robot where they do this thing where it feels really OP when you first encounter it because you're making your way to the new zone and this robot's blocking your path and you get into a fight with it. And it's a very closed space. Like, you cannot get away from this thing, and this robot is all about not closing the distance all the time. Like, you gotta be constantly getting away from that thing. Then when you get to the rest of the game, they're out in the open, and it's a lot easier to fight them, and suddenly it's less of a chore. So I don't know if they were just, like, trying to make it really hard to increase the threat, make you feel more scared when you encounter them, because, I'll be honest, halfway through, I got given a choice. See, I could fight some more bandits and robots, or I could find some paint for this lady and make some lovely paint to advance the plot. I'm like, yeah, I can do that. So, just put on my stealth suit. I'm walking around trying to find some paint. It's not actually paint, it's like pigments, but yeah. I'm just walking around finding paint to advance the plot. Is what I'm doing right now. I don't feel like fighting the
one
robots.
of those things from the beginning?
Nah.
I'm Picasso right now, lady. Let's do this.
That's what I decided to do. So I'm just chilling. I'm not fighting too often. There is this one where there's a mission actually that's pretty cool though, where you band up with a group of 3 and you just go into all-out combat with a series of bots. That's a lot of fun because they abandon all pretenses. You fight these new things where there's these towers that buff all the robots, and you gotta go take down the tower first, either by destroying it or by getting close and overriding it, and then you fight the rest of the bots. Those are some really fun matches, and that really adds to the combat zones, because there's a ton of these if you like the combat. These corruption towers, or whatever they decide to call them, are everywhere in this little new area on this map. And you have tons to do, and if you really like all the combat, you do it. Or if you just want to go through a little nature trail hike like me, you can do that too. You can do that too. Just have a little walk through the snowy forest.
Through Roger Williams Park.
Walk right past the wildlife and just say, hey, I'm not all about that. You guys do your own thing.
I just need some paint.
But now I'm at the part where I have to fight humans, which is the worst part of the game, and still is. Sequel, just don't make me do that. Just more robot fighting, less fighting humans. It's not fun. It's kind of like Last of Us, almost, where, you know, like the...
When you fight humans, it doesn't seem as interesting as, like, fighting the other thing.
Yeah. It's like...
I know what you're gonna do,
especially in the context of especially in the context of Last of Us, because you're like, wow, I'm murdering a lot of people, and there's not many people alive right now, so this feels pretty bad. Whereas even in Horizon Zero Dawn, actually, it's the same thing. You're like, wow, I'm murdering so many people, and there are so few people in the world right now.
I don't think I ever had that thought playing The Last of Us or Horizon.
I did. And now that thought's on your mind now, too.
I feel like that makes you a better person than all of us. Like, I was just saying I found it boring. Like, it wasn't... Like, I know what you're going to do as a person. You're going to shoot back. As a clicker, I didn't know what to expect next. Like, some of them would just, like... Some of them would attack and get real hostile. Some of them you'd fight back and they try to hide and, like, ambush you afterwards. They were all over the place.
Hey, the robots are like that. Some of them run away.
Like, they do whatever they want. The people, they don't. They're like, no, one of us is going to die right the fuck here.
All right, all right. You know, you've heard it here first on Hard Mode Gamers. Last of Us is the same as Horizon Zero Dawn.
Same
Facts.
game.
Same
just
game.
different skins.
100%. Well, I mean, they are both awesome games.
Yeah,
really.
exactly.
So that you know. What do you want out of the sequel? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, share, do everything to help us. We'll like your likes. We'll do what we can.
Yeah. That's it. That's it.
That's it.